I've had a tough family situation growing up. A couple of years ago, my parents split up, and my father was never really the huge masculine man that I needed in my life. As a result of this and for other events, I've really lacked masculine mentors for the majority of my life and mentors in general. At the start, for the past few years before I've started self development, I thought this isn't much of a problem. But eventually, I found out that it was. So I started seeking masculine mentors in the only way that I knew I could find them, on the internet. I started watching content creators on YouTube and other platforms that were focused on self improvement. And I started to implement some of the changes that they recommended to make my life better. I started taking care of my mental and physical health. And I started learning more and more. And I could see that as a result of watching this content and putting it into action, I was making progress over a couple months even. I got onto NoFap, I started meditating, I started even journaling and even looking into religion. And all of this started because I looked for masculine mentors in my life. All of this came down to watching these people that had the success that I wanted and following what they were saying to make my life better. And whilst I'd never had mentors before, these creators became my masculine mentors. Many of them had overcome various obstacles and struggles in their life, and me having come from a position where I felt like a bit of a loser, it really inspired me to see that they too had had these adversities, and maybe even worse than the ones that I had had, and they'd overcome them and become better in spite of them. They changed, and then they helped others change. I hate using the expression that it changed my life, but these creators literally did. They changed my life. They made my life far better than it was before. And without watching their content, I would probably be in a similar position to the one I was before I started watching. But I still needed more. And after watching this content for a while, some of them started recommending reading and gaining knowledge that way. So I started burying my head into self-improvement non-fiction books. These individuals of the books that I read, they'd achieved their success in some sort of way that gave me respect for them, because many of them had not come from ultra success from the beginning. No, they've had to put in time and effort and overcome obstacles in order to get their success. As I started to read more and more of these books, I realized something really crucial. Many of these authors listed mentors that they had. These ultra successful people that I looked up to, they themselves had mentors. And that was sort of like a profound moment for me. Once I realized this, I realized that's it. They need the mentors. Even these multi-millionaires, these authors that have sold millions of copies of their books, they still have a mentor. They still have someone who is more knowledgeable than them that helps them to make their life better and to become more successful. These authors didn't have to figure everything out by themselves. They had someone that they trusted that helped them along the way. And realizing that was a really big light bulb moment for me. I realized I don't have all the knowledge by myself. I can't know everything by myself. And it's when you have mentors and people that have already achieved the success that you want, they're able to pass down knowledge onto you, to teach you to follow their path that they have already laid out, learning from their experiences that they have already done. From then on, I realized I needed to do as much as possible to follow the path of these individuals who have already achieved success in their field that I wanted to achieve. I started really almost religiously following and putting into action tips and pieces of advice that these creators and authors were giving out. I started really taking learning more seriously. Not school learning, life learning. Even though it would be so much better to have these mentors in person, it doesn't matter. These mentors, whom I've never even met in real life, were able to make a profound change in my life, all through either speaking or writing. That's when I started to see progress. When I started to align my path with the path of those who had already achieved success. Even though you and I may have been dealt with a lack of masculine mentors in our life, this is no reason for us to worry. Of course, it would be way better if we had a masculine father and we were surrounded with his masculine friends. But you can't choose the situations you're given in life. So you've just got to make the most of the assets that you have. And if you don't have masculine mentors in your life, you have to find them online or through books. But they're still there, and you can still learn from them, even though you've never met them. So I highly recommend that you get onto some sort of reading or content consumption regime where you find some mentor and you follow their advice and take into account their advice, and often just use their advice over your own brain, because they have the success that you want and you haven't. So follow their advice and try to follow their advice, because sometimes, yes, these mentors may not give the best advice for you right now, but that's all down to like your interpretation and your own mind to just realize what they're saying and figure out what works best to get you on the path you need to get on. We've been failed by the mentors in our life, but there is still no reason why you cannot find mentors from other sources, from books, from content, from other types of media, podcasts. You'd be foolish not to take advantage of this, and there's no reason you can't have mentors, even if they don't exist for you in real life and your day-to-day life. I love you all. Now stop consuming and go create.